So here's a personal example of how I dealt with this topic of time management when I was very hard-pressed to do so. So I mentioned that I was a cruise director for many years. And I didn't start out cruise directing. Many of you know my story, and I won't go into the whole thing now, but I was just thinking I was going to go to sea because I was an actor in New York City and really got tired of that grind. And somebody suggested I call this agency who was putting cruise staff on cruise ships at the time. And I did, and they said, sorry, you're too young to be a cruise director. Sorry, we don't have any assistant cruise director positions available, but we've got something called a socializer, and all you gotta do is dance with single ladies. And I didn't know how to dance, but 3 weeks turned into a season. Next season, that cruise line, I don't know why, but they turned me into an assistant cruise director. Did that for 3.5 years, and then my first cruise directing job was on this ship, on the big ships. My first cruise directing job was on the Golden Odyssey with Royal Cruise Line at the time. And they flew me out to Asia. This catered to American passengers who spent a lot of money, in this case, to take an Asian cruise of about 2 weeks, departing out of South Korea. And they flew me to South Korea, and they said, we're going to fly you out a cruise early because our prize cruise director is cruise directing on this ship, and we want you to be undercover. Don't tell anybody who you are and why you have a passenger cabin on that cruise, because you just make like you're a passenger, and we want you to observe our top cruise director because you're going to be doing that job the next cruise for the season. And I thought, okay, so I finally get there, get to my cabin, unpack, and I'm walking around and thinking, oh, my God, what a beautiful ship, great itinerary, this couldn't be beat. 2-week cruise, exotic ports of call. Most of those days were spent at sea because you had to travel so far to get to these exotic ports of call. And I began to notice something. These passengers flew from Boston, Chicago, Houston, and they spent thousands of dollars per person to take this cruise, and there was no activities program to speak of on board. During these days at sea, we would have maybe 4 days at sea in succession. You know what the big thing was on the activities calendar for those poor passengers on that cruise? Bingo. And napkin folding with Nancy. Napkin folding with Nancy. They teach you how to make animals. Well, la-di-da, Miriam. I just spent $10,000 on a cruise, and I don't want to make a giraffe out of a napkin, you see? So anyway, I'm thinking, wow, this is wonderful. This is going to be a dream 5-month contract for me because I don't have to do much. Just bingo at sea and napkin folding with Nancy. So that cruise ends, and then there was like a 4-day repositioning cruise. And I'm on the gangway, welcoming passengers for the first of those 4 days, and the officer on duty with me gets a phone call. And he, jovial guy, and he's going, yes? And then I'm watching his face kind of dip into deep fear as whatever is being said to him is said. And he said, okay, you mean now? And he said, okay, I'll tell him. And he puts the phone down and he looks at me and I'm thinking, oh my God, somebody died at home and they're just telling me now. And he said, Robert, you are Robert, aren't you? And I said, yes. And he goes, well, excuse me, but weren't you a passenger last cruise? And I said, yeah. Let's not go into that now. And he said, good, because you need to go right away up to the radio room. You have a phone call from the States. And I thought, okay, excuse me. And you know, I felt like I was walking the plank going up to the radio room because I didn't know who was on the other end of the phone. So the radio officer, once I get there, has the same expression of doom on his face as he gives me the phone like that, and his hand is shaking. And he goes, are you Robert? And I said, yes. And he goes, weren't you a passenger last cruise? And I said, never mind. What is with this? And he goes, Robert, this is a call from San Francisco. And I'm thinking, okay, good. I don't know anybody in San Francisco. I have no relatives in San Francisco. Nobody died in San Francisco because I don't know them. And he said, this is Mr. Revness. And I said, excuse me, but who is Mr. Revness? And he puts his hand over the phone and he goes, it's the CEO of this cruise line. And I thought, oh my God, Dick Revness. I have heard about this guy. He is a towering figure in the cruise industry. And of course, Robert, he's the CEO of Royal Cruise Line, and he's on the phone from the San Francisco office. Oh my God. No relatives died. This is my death. This is my last day on this incredible planet that we call Earth. So he goes, good luck. And I'm thinking, oh my God. I can't jump overboard because we haven't left the port yet, and I'm in South Korea. How do I get home? So take the phone, and I said, hello? And he goes, is this Landau? And I said, yes, I understand that this is Mr. Revness. And he goes, yeah, look, let's cut the pleasantries and cut to the chase, Landau, okay? And I'm thinking, oh my God, I know what I'm going to wear in the casket. I've got it all planned out. It's going to be a crazy jacket that they will love. And so he goes, look, we put you on the cruise before this for a reason, Landau, and I don't need to tell you what you'll probably observed. Number one, no energy on the Royal Odyssey. Number two, terrible, embarrassing activities program. Number three, incredibly unhappy passengers. I'm calling you because it's up to you to do something about it. And I said, okay, yes, sir. And he said, look, this is what you got to do. Every hour, particularly during days at sea, I want you to program the beep out of this ship. You hear me? The beep out of this ship. And I'm going, oh my God, what's going on in San Francisco? And he said, every hour, I don't only want one activity, and I ain't talking about napkin folding with Nancy, Landau. I want 2, maybe 3 activities every hour. Particularly during days at sea, I want our passengers to feel that they've gotten what they've paid for. I want them to be enriched. I want them to be entertained. I want them to be happy. I don't only want them to eat. Right. Get it? Got it? Good. And the phone hangs up. And I thought, oh my God, what do I do? And I started to panic. The activities program had already been fixed for the 4-day cruise we were about to embark on, so I couldn't change that. But I was new on the job. I didn't have that type of experience, but yet it was up to me to do it. I had a staff, all said, of about 12 cruise staff. So I go back to my cabin, and I sit down, and I freak out. Us New York City boys can get very freaked out and very emotional at the drop of a hat, and my hat dropped with a mighty thud that day. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? I don't know what I'm doing. How do I get out of here? This next cruise that this has to be brand spanking new is going to start in 3 days. Ah! So, what did I do? I was not an effective time manager. Because I had this huge, daunting task ahead of me, I put it off. I procrastinated. And you know what I did? I gave myself a number of reasons why I wouldn't do this now. Number one, I shouldn't be in my cabin now. There are more passengers coming on this cruise. I need to be up at the gangway. And then after that was done, I need to be socializing in the main lounge. And I stayed away from this for 2 days. And even when I could have worked on it, and I didn't know how I was going to do it, before I went to sleep at night, like at 1 a.m., I gave myself the excuse, the energy. you're just way too tired now to get this done. Rest. You have a full day of just being a cruise director tomorrow. 2 days go by, and I finally woke up the morning of that morning, and I thought, okay, pull yourself together, pull your emotions back in, because the only one who's going to get this done effectively is you. Nobody is going to be helicoptered to this ship who is an expert and lowered down onto the deck and knock on your stateroom door and say, hey, Robert, you see my flowing cape? I'm an activities professional and I am here to help you. I will save you. That kind of activities, Superman does not exist. It was me. And I didn't know that I was wearing the cape, that I was the one, the only one who could do this, but I had to choose to do it. So what did I choose to do? Right there and then, I got a pencil and a piece of paper and I said, okay, Robert, give yourself 3 or 4 ways that this is going to get done. Number 1, believe that you can do it and feel that you have crossed the finish line before you have even started. Because if you don't believe this is going to be a success, then no matter what you do other than that, it won't be. And every step forward you try to take, you'll lose your balance and fall. Number 2, don't do this alone. If there are those who can help you, muster them to you. You've got a huge cruise staff. They've been doing this for years. Tap into what they can bring to the table, and let's work together as a team. Number 3, don't just talk about it, do it. Call a meeting and tell your staff what the hell is going on and ask for their help. Number 4, get it done. Get it done. That's the huge one, because all of this preparation ain't going to do anything unless you hit the ground running and you move forward when that gun starts to fire and the race really does begin. Did that. Met with my crew staff a number of times on that brief cruise, and we ended up putting together an award-winning activities program that not only sent passengers through the roof that next cruise, but Royal Cruise Line used the template of that activities program and put it on all of their ships fleet-wide. All because I decided, you know what? Effective time management is up to nobody else but me. Can I do it? Well, even if I don't think I can do it, Robert, look at what you believe. You believe, I happen to believe, that there are never any accidents, and that if a daunting task is placed on the threshold of your front door, then it's been left there for a reason. And the person that left it there believes that you can do it. All you have to do now is believe that you can do it. It's there for a reason. It's you to be a winner before you've even started that race. If I can do it under those circumstances, and by the way, I had to keep bingo on the calendar, but no more napkin folding with Nancy. Could I have a round of applause, please?
Thanks so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, if you resonated with it, please give the video a like. And also please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay up to date with all the motivation I will continue to share with you. Thank you.